The city's streetlights flickered as the young CEO stepped out of his office late at night, briefcase in hand. His mind buzzed with numbers and deadlines when suddenly he stopped, a frail figure crouched by the trash bins, pulling out bottles and scraps. Her clothes were torn, her hair messy, and her hands blackened with dirt. She looked like just another beggar surviving the night. He felt a pang of pity and guilt pressing in his chest. Without thinking, he reached into his wallet and pulled out some bills. He stepped closer, holding them out. "Here, take this, buy yourself food tonight." She looked up, startled, her eyes wide, not at the money, but at him. Slowly, she shook her head. "I don't want your money." Her voice was soft, but firm. "I can't earn what I need myself." The CEO blinked, stunned. No one had ever refused his help before. He crouched down beside her, setting his briefcase aside. "Why are you doing this? Picking trash is dangerous." She smiled faintly, lifting a half-crushed bottle. "It's not trash to me. It's hope. Every piece I sell feeds me for a day." That's enough. Something about her words tugged at him deeper than he could explain. He reached for the bag she carried, heavy with bottles. "Let me at least help you carry this." She hesitated, studying his face, then nodded. For the rest of the walk they spoke little, but in his heart a strange feeling grew for this girl who seemed broken, yet carried a dignity stronger than most people he met in boardrooms. What he didn't know was that the beggar walking beside him was no ordinary girl. She was the hidden daughter of one of the richest men in the country, living away from privilege by choice to learn the truth of the world. And fate had just tied her path to his. The next day, the CEO found himself scanning the same alleyway on his way to work, and there she was again, crouched over her bag of bottles. The sight stirred something he couldn't quite name. He walked over, setting down a warm sandwich and water beside her. She glanced up, eyebrows raised. "I told you, I don't want your money." He smiled lightly. "It's not money, it's lunch. Even CEOs have to eat, and I thought maybe you'd join me." Her lips curved into a hesitant smile for the first time. He sat beside her on the curb, his tailored suit looking out of place against the cracked pavement. They ate quietly until he asked, "Why do you choose this life?" She tilted her head, studying him. "Do you really think you can understand people if you've only ever lived above them?" His chest tightened at her words because they cut sharper than she knew. Days turned into weeks, and their meetings became routine. He listened more than he spoke, drawn to the fire in her voice and the calm in her eyes. She spoke of dignity, of people unseen, and he found himself looking at his own empire differently. Around her, he felt less like a CEO and more like a man rediscovering who he was. But one evening, everything changed. She didn't show up at her usual spot. Instead, he saw flashing lights and sleek cars outside the alley. A crowd had gathered, whispering in awe and confusion. In the middle of it stood the girl, but this time not in rags. She was wrapped in elegance, her posture regal. Men in black suits surrounding her. Someone in the crowd whispered, "That's her, the billionaire's daughter." The CEO froze, the truth hitting him like a storm. The girl he thought was a beggar was wealthier than he could ever imagine. Yet as her eyes met his across the crowd, the same quiet smile touched her lips, the smile that had melted him long before he knew who she was. The CEO's heart pounded as she stepped toward him, the crowd parting like water. Her dress shimmered under the city lights, but her eyes held the same warmth he had seen when she sat on the curb with him. She stopped just a step away, her voice calm but trembling. "I was afraid this day would come." afraid you'd see me not as the girl with a bag of bottles, but as a daughter of wealth. His throat tightened, words stuck somewhere between pride and betrayal. You let me believe you were someone else. She shook her head. No, I let you see who I really am without the noise of my last name. I needed someone who would talk to me without bowing or begging, and you did? The guards shifted behind her, waiting for her command, but she lifted her hand, keeping them back. Her voice softened. I wasn't testing you, I was testing myself, to see if I could still be human. A world that only sees me as an empire. The CEO swallowed hard, searching her face and finding nothing false. His anger dimmed, replaced by something more confusing. He whispered, "So which one is real, the girl in rags or the woman in diamonds?" She took a shaky breath. Both. But the one who sat with you eating a sandwich on the curb is the one I want to be. He felt his chest ache, torn between the titles that surrounded her, and the truth that lived in her eyes. In that moment, he realized the world might see her as untouchable, but he had touched her heart before he even knew her name. The CEO let out a long breath, the crowd still buzzing behind them, but to him, it felt like only the two of them stood in the street. He stepped closer, his voice low but certain. I don't care about the diamonds or the empire. I care about the girl who carried bottles and still smiled like the world couldn't break her. Her eyes glistened, tears threatening to spill as she whispered, "And you still sat beside me, even when the world would have told you not to." That's the man I fell for, not the CEO, but the one who chose kindness over pride. For a moment, neither moved. Then he reached for her hand, and she let him hold it, their fingers interlocking as if they had always belonged that way. The guards looked uneasy, the crowd gasped, but neither of them cared. Her voice broke softly. I was terrified you'd walk away after learning who I am. He shook his head, a faint smile curving his lips. No, you're the one who taught me who I am. The lights flashed, the whispers grew, but all he felt was her hand in his. For the first time in years, the CEO didn't think about deals or deadlines. He thought about a curb, a sandwich, and a girl who showed him that. Love had nothing to do with names. If this story moved you, share it, so others never forget that one selfless act can rewrite a destiny in ways no one sees coming.